So, your friends have Steam, and you want to join the PC Master Race, but your computer looks like this. No, not that. Or that. That's the one. So, luckily you came to here, because I've got 5 games. Actually, no, I've got more than 5 games. I'll tell you that later, though. That can run on the truly most awful PCs. Like, I'm not gonna go for the fairly alright running games, just the worst PCs like ever. So, all the games here can be bought on Steam, because that's the easiest way. I felt like an early 2000s kid when playing it, because this is like a 10-year-old PC I have, and it was kind of funny when I was recording. But there will be honorable mentions here for games that either weren't as fun, so I didn't put them on the list, or couldn't run on the PC in question. What's the PC in question? Well, it's a 10-year-old Windows XP 1GB of RAM, Intel R 1.6 GHz 2 CPU processor with an Intel R GMA 950 graphics chip. Yeah, I've rehearsed that a fair bit. So, this is my opinion, so if you have any other games, then just sort of put them in the comment section. I was pointing down, but I don't have a face cam. That's awkward. So, yeah, the footage I'm recording is not on the PC in question, because it's just, I got on a bit of a better PC I'm recording on, even though the PC I'm recording on is still pretty bad. But, yeah, shall we get started? Okay, at number 5. Number 5 is Gamedev Tycoon. Framerate is unknown. What a great start to this list. You basically play as a indie developer person guy who's making his way up to become a super giant corporation that makes video games. Yay. It wouldn't tell me the frame rate, no matter how much I tried. It just wouldn't. So that wasn't great. There's practically no settings except for the full screen and window settings, which is not much. I recommend you play this at 1024 by 768 resolution. That's difficult to say. But you can play in 800 by 600, but it doesn't show all of the screen, and you'll need to do it in windowed full screen. Number 4. Number 4 is Rome Total War, a game where you play Rome. I actually don't always play Rome, and you basically wage war and stuff. The frame rate I got was 20. Now, before you go, "Oh, this is such a terrible list, blah blah blah, I'm so annoyed," this game doesn't really rely that much on frame rate. So, and I'm going on like the really worst PC, so most of you probably will have better PCs than this, but some of you might not. But this game doesn't really matter too much frame rates wise. It's a great game though. The thing is, I don't play it that often. So, lots of people say it's pretty good, so I decided to go for this, and I tried it a bit, and yeah, pretty good. Right, number 3. Number 3 is King Arthur's Gold. It was frame locked at 30 frames per second, and it occasionally went down to 20, but mostly just kept up on 30. I play this in 800 by 16 full screen. It's basically like Terraria, but, well, you know, the multiplayer versus of Terraria, but it's like actually meant to happen, because I don't know about you, but when I usually play Terraria, we never really did versus because you couldn't really do it. It's just sort of just the way it was. But this is like built for that, and it's really cool and just amazing. Also, it's got a great trailer. It's just really funny, quite cool. Right, number 2. Number 2 is Star Wars Battlefront 2. I play this at 30 frames per second, consistently, even in space battles. Now, before you think, this is like the new Star Wars Battlefront 2? Like the one that's new and made by EA and stuff? No. No, it's kind of complicated. Basically, first you start off with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm not going to tell you the date because I can't be bothered to research it. Because I'm lazy. Which is that was an awkward silence. Then they had Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is the game I'm talking about. This was on the PlayStation 2, PC, and original Xbox, and it's really good. It basically, I'm going to be recording this on the original Xbox version because I prefer that version, although it does have a fairly bad frame rate, the original Xbox version. But it has split screen, so, you know, yeah. But moving on, then you have the new version, which is Star Wars Battlefront EA, which was a massive disappointment. Probably gonna be sued by them now. Oh well. But compared to the old ones, they were just, not good at all. So, yeah, a bit of a stretch spec-wise, but still it's surprisingly low. Like, it does have lots of people playing, like it's usually 16 versus 16, 32-player battles, which it runs surprisingly well at 30 frames per second on this PC. I play it slightly lower than the lowest preset settings, but it's sort of, I don't know which it was, but just, you know, fiddle about the settings. I played with a resolution of 800 by 600. I always suggest going with that resolution because it's a good resolution to play with. Before we get to number 1, though, we have to get off the honorable mentions. Give them a nice shout out. Star Wars Republic Commando. This I didn't put on the list because I preferably prefer Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we already have a Star Wars game. But this one's pretty good. It's a bit of a pain difficulty-wise. It's quite difficult, but it runs fairly well on PCs. Basically, you basically go around and you are part of a squadron called I've forgotten, and you do basically these missions that are side by side by the actual story. It's quite interesting. FTL, I really wanted to put this on the list, but the screen resolution just needs to be a little bigger than what I could provide at the time, so I was like, no, why? But yeah, it's a great game. Me and the Stone Pickaxe are doing a sort of an interesting Let's Play. It's a challenge. You should check it out when it's available. So subscribe, blah blah blah. I got my daily subscribe asking quota done. Yeah. So yeah, you should check that out, and the game's great. Monaco. Monaco is a 4-player overhead view stealth game. 4-player stealth game. It's crazy fun. Basically, you all play as these thieves, and you go infiltrate buildings and stuff. But it's so chaotic because usually you get either two things. You get 3 guys who are sort of stealthing, you know, doing all cool stuff. Then you get that one guy who's fairly incompetent at video games. He triggers all the alarms, everything goes wrong, and everyone runs into a bush or gets killed. And you usually get that one guy left who's like, okay, I gotta go save everyone else. Or you get the other thing, which is 3 idiots running around like headless chickens. They all get killed, and you get that one guy who's super stealthy. And yeah, it's really good. Scribblenauts Unlimited. Scribblenauts Unlimited is basically a game where you can write something down and it will appear in the game, and you got to solve lots of puzzles. It's pretty good, I have to say. Although it was having a fair debate between this game and Rome to Lore. I went for Rome to Lore because I think it's a little better. But yeah, it's still quite enjoyable, Scribblenauts Unlimited, and it can run on pretty much any PC. Alright, number 1. Number 1 comes in with Gold Source games. Gold Source is, well, the previous version of the Source engine. Maybe wondering, what's the Source engine? Well, the Source engine is like what Half-Life 2, Day of Defeat Source, and Counter-Strike Source run on. It's a sort of it's an old shooter engine. It's not that old, the Source one, but the Golden Source is the one before that, which ran with Half-Life 1, Counter-Strike, the original, Day of Defeat, and Team Fortress Classic. This runs at mostly 60, and occasionally drops to 40, but mostly just always stays at 60. So basically, the Golden Source engine is like the Serious Sam and the Serious engine, but a lot more successful. For this review thing, I was playing Counter-Strike, because the DVD disc drive thing is broken on the computer I'm using, and I do have a Half-Life 1 DVD, and I couldn't be bothered to install it on the other computer. So, yeah. I set the graphics at the lowest they could go, and the resolution was 800 by 16, 800 by 16, 800 by 600, and I turned VSync off. Good suggestion for shooter games, always turn VSync off. Well, if you got like really horrendous frame rates. But wait, there's a bonus! Okay, so if you put in these codes, well, these commands, at the set launch options, I'll probably record me doing stuff like that. I'm not going to say what they are because I'll just put them in the description or on the screen. Why am I moving my hands? Whatever. Basically what this does is it makes the game run faster. I got from 60 to 40, it's now 80 to 60, which is a pretty big improvement. Basically it turns off blood, turns off decals, which is bullet marks on the walls, and makes some textures look worse. So yeah, it makes it run better. I also have done a very short series on Counter-Strike Condition Zero deleted scenes, but it's very laggy. Why is this spelled lageg? I don't know. Because it was laggy because of the recording, and it just wasn't very good. It was the first time I tried to do recording live, and it wasn't great. Let's just say that. So, thank you very much for watching, and good luck with these games.